Hello, I'm Claire Jewitt, and this is the Diary of an Orange Cat. The diary entries of a thoughtful, slightly neurotic ginger cat named Weasley, written from a small harbour community in New Zealand. In the last episode, Weasley found himself reluctantly drawn into Serafina's latest initiative, a socially responsible campaign known as SPUNC, the Society for the Prevention of Unneutered Cats. In today's diary entry, a mysterious crime wave hits the village. Parcels go missing, rumours spread, and before long, Weasley finds himself dealing with something far closer to home than he would like. And now, Weasley's diary. I've always believed that crime requires a certain level of intelligence, coordination, and, ideally, opposable thumbs. It is therefore deeply concerning to report that recent events have called this belief into question. Wednesday, 18th of December 2018. As Christmas approached, Serafina's efforts to raise awareness for SPUNC got lost amid the holiday festivities. This, along with an unexpected crime wave, made it hard for her cause to garner attention. With wide eyes and furrowed brows, Serafina shared some disturbing news this morning. She started by giving us a lecture on the importance of neutering cats. Then, without pausing, she went on to say, "And it's not just the mail that's going missing. A property has been broken into and a boat trailer was stolen." Ron and I exchanged puzzled glances. Why would she be linking these events to the issue of homeless cats in the village? SPUNC needs to do something about this, she continued. She seemed determined to make the newly formed Society for the Prevention of Unneutered Cats the central theme of every conversation. I mustered up courage and questioned her theory. Surely it's unlikely that cats are responsible for these crimes. Well, obviously not the boat trailer, she said with a short chuckle. But I was concerned when I heard about the mail going missing. How would a cat reach the mailboxes to get the stuff out? I asked, certain that she was meowing up the wrong tree with this line of wild supposition. Evidently, most are courier packs that are left on people's doorsteps, she said patiently. Honestly, don't you two ever read the Peninsula Post? No, maybe ours got stolen, I snorted. In any case, what would be the point? You seem to know every issue off by heart. Ron had been staring at his front paws throughout this entire conversation in a glazed sort of way. I fancied I caught the unmistakable whiff of catnip.
Opposable thumbs,
he said dumbly, wiggling his digits.
We don't have opposable thumbs.
I was getting concerned that Ron might be in the grip of some sort of psychotic episode when he suddenly snapped out of it and, turning to me, said,
Have you got any of those kitten food sachets left? I'm as hungry as a lion.
Did he have to mention the kitten sachets in front of Serafina? I only ever had the occasional one as a special treat, a change from my usual healthy metabolism blend of scientifically prepared adult cat food. Ron went inside and we could both hear him crunching loudly on my biscuit leftovers. Serafina used this opportunity to urge me to consider the possibility of setting up a Give a Little page to go towards getting the homeless cats desexed. I wish she'd give it a rest. Serafina, I growled through clenched teeth, I will not be the poster boy for your endless campaigns. My frustration was palpable as I glared at her, but her steadfast gaze told me that Serafina was about to drag me into yet another one of her causes. You must do something, she pleaded, her voice tinged with desperation. They're getting carried away and having kittens. Why me? I snapped. What do you want me to do? Follow them round the village and give them a lecture every time they think about getting carried away? Hand out your spunk brochures like a raving idiot? Before Serafina could answer, Ron interrupted us. He'd clearly just been chased out of the house by Mummy, but not before he could polish off the rest of the food that I've left in my bowl.
Hey, did you guys know that the biscuits at the bottom of the bowl are actually safe to eat?
Ron announced, unaware of the tension in the air. I've had enough of this, I declared, throwing up my paws in frustration. I need to go under the house and shake for a while. Ah, Serafina winced apologetically, knowing she'd pushed me too far. What does mean? I demanded, already dreading her answer. Serafina began to babble in an effort to explain herself. It's just for a few days, I promise. Hypo needs a temporary home until she can find a forever home. She keeps having kittens, and I thought it would be okay if... Ron and I both jumped off the deck and peered under the house, where we could see the scrawny white cat with the huge, scared blue eyes. She was surrounded by miscellaneous items that I was certain hadn't been there before. Once back on the deck, I spoke with finality. No, Serafina, it is definitely not okay. What the heck is Hypo doing under the house? I've told you it's hypothetical, screeched Serafina. I'll have to cancel our mindfulness group this evening, I said. We can't have it under the house while she's there with all those belongings.
Surely Hypo, whatever it is, can come to our meeting,
said Ron magnanimously, extending an invitation to something I was certain was not likely to be her cup of tea at all. I was hoping you might bring along your new friend Stewie, I said to Serafina. I don't know how he'd feel about having Hypo here, though, if he's a bit sensitive, that is. Serafina, who had clearly come to the realisation that she was just going to have to come clean and accept her fate, said, Stewie is actually a dog. A dog? I was shaken to the very roots of my being. First, I had to accept that I had some sort of Jezebel living under my house, and now I was supposed to welcome a dog, into our group. Do we have to be species specific? She said defiantly. You're so prejudiced. Sometimes I think that you're just an orange bigot and a bully, a cat supremacist who can't accept that we should be more understanding and embrace those who differ from us. An orange bigot and cat supremacist? Really? Surely she was overreacting. But I surrendered to her icy glare and said, Hypo can stay for a couple of days only, but no dogs, and we need to find out who owns all that stuff that she's brought with her. If Mummy sees it, I could be in big trouble. Hypo has a bit of a problem with taking things, said Serafina sheepishly. Things that, strictly speaking, aren't hers?
Maybe we should call a klepto then,
quipped Ron. An awful thought occurred to me. She's not the male thief, is she? Good Lord, no. It's just bits of old junk that people have left in their garden, said Serafina before quietly adding, I think. We all went underneath the house, and I was absurdly relieved to find that there was no boat trailer, nor were there any discarded courier bags or New Zealand Post envelopes. Ron talked to Hypo, while Serafina and I had a good look at a cache of stolen items. Apart from a pair of underpants, a child's bucket and spade, an old sock, and what looked like a bag of fake plastic acorns, most of it appeared to be dog toys. I felt dizzy with relief. What a day! I was well overdue a nap and said so, but just as she was preparing to leave, Serafina asked me if I wouldn't mind doing her a little favour. I felt the now familiar wave of exhaustion that accompanied Serafina's request for not-so-little favours. Can you watch over Hypo while she's under the house? Then lowered her voice in case Hypo might hear. Make sure she doesn't have any visitors. We wouldn't want her having any more kittens. What am I supposed to do? I said in a harsh whisper, my voice growing more hysterical as I went on. Give her a brochure? Get Hypo involved in such an absorbing game of I Spy that she forgets about the enormous sex-crazed tomcat nearby that I've got absolutely no show of restraining. I was very pleased when I could finally feel the luxuriously soft pile of Mummy's dressing gown between my paws as we watched TV together this evening. Burying my head in its luxurious depths, I was thankful that I'd had the sense to cancel the mindfulness meeting tonight. I couldn't imagine any of us being able to bring our complete attention to the present moment when our current reality meant being surrounded by stolen goods with hypo and, if Serafina had had her way, with a dog in attendance. What if some of the stolen dog toys belonged to him? It didn't bear thinking about. Tuesday, 25th December 2018. Ron and I spent Christmas Day in the field behind On the Spot, pretending we were lions. It's our favourite game, and because both of us are ginger, I fancy we look more the part than, say, Squeak, who has long black and white fur and gets too hot and bothered to play for any length of time anyway. We didn't invite Serafina because she just bangs on about lionesses doing all the hunting, to the point where it takes the edge off the game and normally degenerates into arguments. Afterwards, I snuck into Mummy's room and cuddled up to her dressing gown, pleased to put the worries of the past few weeks behind me. Wednesday, 26 December 2018. Mummy's daughter is staying with us and she's bought that blasted dog. I let Mummy know how unhappy I am about this by staying away for a full 24 hours. I know she's getting worried because she keeps calling me, but I thought, blow it. It'll teach her to invite one of those slobbering half-wits into our house. Monday, 31st December 2018. Thankfully, Hypo is gone from under the house. The Diamond Harbour Cat Rescue Group managed to find her a nice home in the village. Evidently, she's still somewhat light-fingered and has built up a fresh collection of stolen dog toys at a new home. The contraband that she brought to my place is still stashed under the house. Serafina suggested, with a straight face, that we should attempt to find the dogs who own the toys and return them. Only the toys that still look good and haven't been chewed to bits, she said. Most of them are just old chewed-up pieces of rubbish. Do you have any idea how attached dogs are to their toys? I said on hearing this ill-thought-out and potentially dangerous proposal. It's not the same as our toys, which stay in pristine condition years after the purchase date. It doesn't matter if dogs' toys get chewed beyond recognition. That only makes them more valuable in their eyes. You must be mad. Ron looked at me and, rolling his eyes at Serafina, simply said,
Mental.
And that was the cat beef. If you enjoyed this episode, please follow the podcast, leave a rating, or share it with someone who might enjoy Weasley's world. Next time, in The Lion Within, Weasley and the gang attend a rather unusual self-improvement workshop involving a life coach, a pub, and a dog that they must walk past without completely losing their nerve. Let's just say not everyone handles it well.